Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. How you doing? And today we're going to be doing something kind of cool. If you saw the title of the video, which I'm assuming you did if you clicked on it, we're doing the alphabet of fear. And what that is I'm going to go through all of the letters of the alphabet, except for a couple like Y and U, because I couldn't find fears for them, and X because I could only find one, and that with this being like a family-friendly channel to the extent that it is, it's just not the place for it. But it is, if that's one you're curious about, you can look it up, or I will have the link to the website where I got all this information from in the description. So without further ado, let's boogie. Let me get to the, make sure I'm not, there we go. Alright, let's boogie. So to start off with, this is not a letter. I mean, S is a letter, but this is kind of just to kick it into gear, you know what I mean? So social phobia, not now known as social anxiety disorder, the phobia is marked by a fear of social situations in which a person might be judged or embarrassed. So with this one, I can totally sympathize. Like, I have a bit of social anxiety myself. It really depends on my current mood, so I wouldn't call it a phobia. I don't get immediate fear from it. It more or less depends on my bodily feel beforehand, I guess. So I'd say that's pretty rational. We're going to be rating all these 1 through 10, 1 being like, come on, really? And 10 being like, I gotcha. I might have a new fear myself. So yeah. With this one, I'd say that's a 9. I mean, especially because this one kind of hits close to home. Next up, this is a 2-part video, by the way. We haven't done one of those in a while. Starting off with A, agoraphobia. This phobia involves an irrational and extreme fear of being in places where escape is difficult. It may involve a fear of crowded places or even leaving one's home. I don't know, that's terrible. It sounds kind of somewhat related to the first one. But because when you're in that like type of anxiety in that level, you almost get like that tunnel vision. And it's very hard to think of, like, your mind is thinking of exits but not possibly seeing them. It's a tough one, so I'd give that one, that's another 8. I don't know how to pronounce half of these, just so we can get that out there. Acluophobia, the fear of darkness. I wasn't even sure what to put for a picture for this one. I was just gonna put like a black square, but that's actually another fear, so it didn't work. So for this one, the fear of darkness. This one's interesting, and you hear an argument about this a lot. So you have people that say like it is like the fear of darkness itself, and others who say you're not afraid of the darkness, you're afraid of what's in the darkness. But I think that adds a whole nother layer to it, because it's like, with that, you're implying there's something there that's gotta be closer to like the fear of being watched. The fear of the darkness is just like, I get it. When I'm in complete darkness, I'm either sleeping or getting ready to sleep, and that's kind of in that darkness is kind of where, like, at least for me, my mind tends to roam the most, because it's got nothing else to focus on. And that may include you seeing the Hat Man, which, not even gonna get into that. That's a whole different can of worms. But that's just the example, because I see a lot of people being like, it's the fear of what's in the dark, not the dark itself. Like with the fear of heights, it's always like, you're afraid of falling, not being that high up. But brother, let me tell you, I'm afraid of being that high up. I could care less about the fall. But yeah, so this one, I'm gonna give this one a 6. Like, that's understandable, but I don't personally. It's not me, but I could see it. I had to put this one in there. Arachibutera. What? Arachibutera. Why am I adding such emphasis on the U? Arachibutterophobia. 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 Okay, the fear of peanut butter. And looking into it, because when I read that, I was like, there's no way, like, maybe if you're allergic, like, you have some sort of fear of it, but like a phobia. And then when you look more into it, it's the fear of peanut butter getting stuck to the roof of your mouth. I don't I think more what I was saying with having an allergy is closer to being a fear than that. These all exist because someone out there does have them and does suffer with it. But this seems like an easy fix. Just a glass of milk and you're good to go. You have a lot of people who do the whole like, oh, you could swallow your tongue, or like that's why they tell you not to give your dog peanut butters because they could swallow their tongue. But glass of milk, just a glass of milk, and you're good to go. There's no. Whoa, hey Neil, hey Neil, how's it going? I forgot I put him in here. But yeah, no, glass of milk and you're good to go. I'm gonna give that one a 4. Astrophobia, the fear of outer space. This one I kind of understand. So, you want to not do that? With the fear of outer space, it's kind of like a Cthulhuism-ish, into looking into the unknown, where we don't know exactly how far it goes, where it expands, and whatnot. And I kind of get that. If I, like, at night, if I stare into the sky for too long, I get a little bit anxious. I mean, I'm a super anxious person as it is, but I get a little bit anxious because it's just, I don't know, I think I overthink space. I just had to put Neil deGrasse Tyson in there because, you know, what really is space? Bibliophobia, the fear of books. There was not a lot of options for B. I don't remember what the other one was. But I don't get it. I'm going to be flat out. Maybe a paper cut. I've never had a paper cut, so I can't tell you how scary they are. But will you figure out what you're doing, brother? But fear of books, that's... I feel like that's avoidable because we have like Kindles, and you don't have I can't remember the last time I stepped in a library, but you know, when you think of fear, it's such a strong feeling too. It's a very intense emotion, and just to imagine like looking at a book and being like, ah! You know, like that, it just I can't picture that. So I'm going to give that one a 3. Oh yeah, I should probably give a warning. This one, I mean, I should give warnings with all these because, like I said, at least someone has them. That's why they exist. The fear of clowns. I didn't mean to jump scare you there if you have a fear of clowns. But it's, you know, part of me gets it. It's like this... it's like when people wear masks on Halloween, and it's intimidating because you never really know what's behind the mask, or in the sense of a clown, their face paint is so heavily applied, you don't really know who or what's behind it. So I can understand that. I know a couple people actually who have fear of clowns. I'm personally not. I mean, they're like, ugh, like gross looking. But, you know, I'm not, I wouldn't say fear is a strong enough word. And not even from the sense of how many people have it, but from the sense of, like, understanding it. Like, there is a bit of mystery behind the fear, you know what I mean? In the sense of, like I said, like, you don't know who's behind the makeup. And it's so heavily applied, like, almost sometimes physically you don't know who's behind the makeup, not just, like, metaphorically. So, yeah, you know, we'll give that one a 7. I think that's fair. Fear of houses. Oh, I didn't read that. Colrophobia. There we go. Dermatophobia. The fear of houses. I looked this word up and it was just pictures of houses. There was actually one really, really cool picture of, like, an eyeball with like housing, like window panels on it, and like a hand grabbing the panels from inside the eyeball. It was really dope looking, but it was probably a stretch too far for the channel. But I don't know. I think, like, depending on how the house looks, it can have some unease to it, kind of like with the clown makeup. Like the picture on the right there, something about that's kind of creepy. In my brain, I don't inherently know why, but I can tell you I can see that it's kind of creepy. Amphibiaphobia. Amphibiphobia. Amphibiphobia. I had the fear of teenagers. That classic, I think it's Buck Cherry song. And it's like the teenagers scare the living pants off of me, you know. I don't get it. That's got to be terrible. Like, there's teenagers everywhere, bro. You go to the store to get yourself a carton of eggs, boom, guarantee you're going to see at least one. You go to the gas station and pump up your gas, probably a teenager. You go to McDonald's to escape and get some lovely fast food, boom, teenager. You try to DoorDash it from home so you don't want to take that chance, maybe a teenager's dropping it off. What do you do then? I don't know. That's a scary time we live in, man. Sorry. Oh yeah, the dermatophobia is getting it too. And I guess maybe, because I guess teenagers are unpredictable, and they are ridiculous. Believe it or not, I was one once, and, you know, we'll give it a 5. We'll go right down the middle. I'll give them a little bit of, you know, leeway. Genophobia, the fear of knees. I don't even have a good joke for this one. I don't know. I can't, like, how? And why? You know what I mean? Like, where does that come from? I'm sure it's more in depth than the fear of knees, but when you look up genophobia, it's just a ton of pictures like these. There's a ridiculous amount of pictures of people holding their knees for this. What about them is so scary? I'm wearing ripped jeans and I can see my knees right now. And I mean, they're kind of hairy, but, like, other than that, I wouldn't say they're too spooky. I'll say 3. I don't know. This next one, I love this next one. And I am going to try to get it on the first try, but it's not going to happen. It is the biggest slap in the face I've ever seen. Hippopotamonstrossequipedaliophobia. The fear of long words. And that is probably the longest word I've ever seen. So, and don't hit me with the expialidocious bogus thing. Supercaradocious asterfrabalicious. I don't remember what the word is. It's definitely not that. I don't remember exactly what the word is I'm looking for, but supercalifragil. You know what I'm talking about. It's a long word, but don't hit me with whatever that word is, because that doesn't count. That's not a real word. This is a real word. I might have to call my mom and ask her what that word is, because I have no clue. I know what I'm thinking. I can hear the song in my head, but I don't know how to pronounce it. And insectophobia. This one I have when it comes to bees, because get off my phone. Because I'm allergic to bees, and so I'm afraid of them. Oh yeah, I forgot to rate hippopotamonstrossequipedaliophobia. So that I'm gonna give that's a 1, bro. I can't understand that. I mean, maybe if you try to pronounce the word that I tried to pronounce 100 times, and like it just drives you nuts, understandable. But that's a 1. But insectophobia. So this one, so not all insects, mainly bees. For me at least. And I am like straight up, like, I'll lock myself in a room if there's a bee in the house. Like, very scared of them. Like, I don't like them at all. But this is a fear of insects in general. Most insects I'm fine with. Like, I could care less. Like, spiders don't really bug me that much. Mosquitoes don't really bug me. Dragonflies, any of those guys really don't bug me too much. But I'm gonna give this one a 6, only because unless you're like in an area where it's insect heavy, then there's no need for it. And that's even speaking to myself. Like, I legit, like, my fear of bees is ridiculously intense. But yeah, this is part 1 I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're having a good day. If you're watching early on, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, let me know if you got any fears in the comments. Let me know what you thought of these ones. Let me know if you know what word I was trying to say. I'll give it one more swing. Just a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Is that right? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That sounds right. I don't know if it is, but it sounds pretty right. Alright, anyway, and look out for part 2. That'll be out Thursday. What's today? Is today Tuesday? Yeah, it is. Look out for that. See ya!